Hi guys, this is Matt from Beaucroft Watches. Today I'm going to introduce you to our newest watch, the Eden Green, from our Senate range. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the story behind this watch and also introduce you to this style of dial, which is called a Fumey Dial. Tell you a bit about this vintage look and why it's made a resurgence in the watch industry. So where did the inspiration for the Eden Green dial come from? So at the start of 2022, Beaucroft Watches became a member of 1% for the Planet. So this is an organisation of brands and members that commit to making and donating 1% of all sales revenue to environmental non-profits and green charities. So to mark this commitment, we wanted to launch a new addition into the Senate watch range, which really encapsulates this first step we're taking towards becoming a greener brand and creating a greener planet. We loved the idea of designing a watch dial that had a very vibrant burst of green in its centre, that gradually fades towards a deep green at its edges. We explored many manufacturing processes to create the desired effect, and finally we found what we were looking for in a vintage process used to make what's called a Fumey Dial. So what's a Fumey Dial? So Fumey watch dials are effectively a gradient colour dial that slowly transitions from a darker colour at the outer edges to a lighter colour in the centre of the dial. How are these created? So to create this effect, the brighter central colour is applied first, then the dial is sprayed with a darker hue while it spins. And by altering the intensity of the spray and the speed of the spinning dial, you can create some amazingly unique colour gradients. And one of the cool things about this process is that each batch of dials will also have a very uniquely different gradient based on that varying speeds and varying spray profile. So batch to batch, the Eden Green and your unique Eden Green will change depending on those parameters that we set with each batch. So when were the first Fumey dials created? So the first Fumey dials were introduced into the watch world in the 70s. And as you can imagine, they were very attractive as they suited the vibe of this era with a very vibrant look and tone. Why are they called Fumey dials? So this unique airbrushed effect for a dial's gradient started becoming known as the smoky effect. It was not long before the French term for smoky, fumé, was being used by Swiss watchmakers to describe this modern look, this modern trend that was starting to take off in the luxury watch industry. So while there is no actual smoke used in the process for creating the effect, the term fumé stuck and has been used by the luxury watchmakers that have been pioneering this vintage effect ever since. Why are more and more watchmakers such as Beaucroft designing watches with this gradient style? So I think it's a great instance of a vintage and classic 70s look finding a new modern audience and having a comeback, which is one of the things we love about the watch industry. For us at Beaucroft, our aim is to take a beautiful vintage effect like this, seen predominantly on luxury watches, put our own flavour on it, and make it accessible for more customers on an affordably priced mechanical watch, such as the Eden Green. Finally, why the name Eden Green? So there are two reasons for the name. One's historical, one's personal. Firstly, the name Eden has so many historical and modern ties to nature, from the biblical Garden of Eden to the Eden Project. So we felt it was a perfect name to link to our commitment to a greener and more natural earth. Secondly, my daughter and first child was born in 2020 and we named her Eden. When she was born, it really hit home to me that the planet she will inhabit when she's, say, my age, may be very different to the one we have now, unless real steps are taken to protect the natural environment and all its beauty. So thinking about Eden, as well as Karim's younger children, inspired us to take a positive step with an environmental commitment for our own business. And so this watch's name is dedicated to her. That's the Eden Green as part of the Senate range. Do check it out, and we'd love to hear what you think about it.